Hi there, it's Michelle Last here, and I'm showing you how to make one of the cards from the September 2014 technique class where we use the World of Dreams stamp set, and I'm going to show you how to make this technique in the background. And what you're going to get in your card kit is your card blank cut and scored for you and a piece of pattern paper, so if you can glue that in place with a nice even border around the outside. Then you've also got a scrap of card in your pack, and you'll also have the envelope too, but we're going to concentrate on the scrap of card. So what you need to do is use a clear block. Whatever size clear block you use has to fit on the top of on the front of your card. So this is probably the biggest size that I would recommend. This is clear block E from Stampin Up. And basically what I need to do is I need to stamp that on my piece of Naturals white cardstock, slightly thicker than the normal cardstock, and it's quite absorbent. And I'm going to be inking that up and then stamping it. You can see I've only just got a little minimal edge, but that should be fine. So what I'm going to do is I've got three gradient colours. I've got Elegant Eggplant, there is Night of Navy along here, and then Lost Lagoon. So I've got the marker pens, she says. Now you can use the ink pads, but I'm going to use the marker pens to colour in my clear block. So I know that I want the Elegant Eggplant to be at the bottom of the clear block. So I'm just going to go across the bottom, the base like this. Then I'm going to add the Night of Navy, so I'm using the thick tip. I'm going to put some Night of Navy there, and then I'm going to do the rest in Lost Lagoon, which will be the sky. So I'm going all the way across the block. Not being too precise, and I haven't always gone right to the edge, but it'll give some kind of the watercolour effect. I'm just going to move these bits out of the way. Then what you need is a water spray. I've just got a standard water spray, and I'm going to spray, first of all I'm just going to spray behind me and make sure that it's spraying okay, because sometimes when you first spray it, it comes out in small little drops. I want it to come out in a really fine mist. So I'm going to spray and get my nice fine mist of water on my clear block. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to position my Naturals white cardstock, and very quickly I'm going to flip it over and stamp it down on my paper. And can you see as I stamp it down, I'm not really pressing, but if I press I'm just encouraging the ink to creep into the paper. So I'm just going to leave that. If you just watch that for a minute or two, you'll start to see like little changes appearing. It's like little spider veins are going out, and it's just the water being absorbed into the cardstock. So I want you to leave that to do that for about a minute or so. Keep an eye on it, and you'll see when it stops creeping. That's a funny expression, but you'll know what I mean when you see it. When it stops creeping, then it's done. So this is quite a wet area here. That's absolutely fine. I'm just going to wait for that to absorb in, and I'm just going to leave that a moment. So whilst I'm doing that, if I just, I can now focus on getting the sentiment. So what I've done is I've stamped onto a piece of vellum. Now I stamped in the Blackberry Bliss, but the Blackberry Bliss ink actually takes quite a long time to dry onto the vellum, so I'm going to actually use black StazOn just for speed for making this card, because I don't want to smudge it. I'm going to stamp it on my vellum, and then I'm going to cut it out using this die here from the Apothecary Accents framelit dies. So when you stamp it, try and stamp your sentiment over so that you've got enough to cut it out, because this is going to be tucked underneath this bit of card here. And the reason for that is it's very hard to stick vellum down. The reason for that is because you can see the glue. So the way I've done it is I've tucked it around the back of the card and glued it underneath, and then I've just got a glue dot of glue underneath the button and covered up the glue dot with the button, so you can't actually see where I've glued it. So I'm now hopeful that this is going to have dried, or soaked in at least. So as I lift that off, we've got that really nice background watercolour image. Now I probably didn't get much water over in this section, but it doesn't worry me. It looks absolutely fine to me. And I need to get the grass, the reeds from the stamp set, which looks like this. And I'm going to get the Blackberry Bliss ink, which is a different purple to the purple I used on here. and I'm going to ink it up. And what I'm going to aim to do is get some of the leaves coming off the edge of the inked image. Sorry, I'm going to keep stamping. So I'm just getting a feel for where it is. Like that. Now don't stamp that whilst this is still wet, because you'll find the ink will bleed a little bit and it might go a little bit fuzzy. I think I've just got away with it, but I think it is just, so don't do it too soon. Then what I'm going to do is grab my scissors, which I can't seem to find. Okay, I'm going to grab some other scissors. Oh, there. Right, I've got my scissors. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just cut around the stamped image and around the rectangle, which is just going to freehand, just going to cut around there like that. I'm going to round off the corners. That just gives a nice accent to the front of the card. Difficult to tell here, but I'm going to just guess. So that's my my stamped image, which is then going to be stuck on the front of my card. I did it at an angle, and then you're going to stamp the vellum in StazOn or Blackberry Bliss and leave it to dry. Tuck it around the back, tie some twine through the button and stick that in place as your accent. I won't show you how to do that, only because it involves the big shot and I might knock over my tripod while I'm trying to reach for my big shot. So that's pretty much the technique. I really hope that you give it a try, because it's a real wow technique. It looks different every time, and experiment with different colours. The one thing I will quickly show you before I move on is to show you how I picked out the colours. You can see they match really nicely tone wise, so try and be thoughtful about that. But oranges and pinks and reds would look beautiful for a sunset as well, so you could try that. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy making that card, and I'm off to make the next video. Thank you.